Hello YouTube, welcome to a brand new episode of the unboxing, the inbox series. I want to start off this video by saying thank you very much for the positive response I've gotten to these videos so far. I basically recorded the first 9 episodes, I recorded 9 and I lost 1, so there was 8 episodes of this series, sort of without knowing how it was going to go over, how well it was going to be accepted, and people seem to really enjoy the series. So thank you for that. It's sort of inspired me to get some more shelving and continue with the unboxings, because I'm still curious about what's left in these boxes. I've got about 7 boxes left. And I'm just really curious about what else is in these boxes myself, and I know you want to see them as well. So we're going to go ahead and get into it and get this series continued on down the road. As I'm filming this, it is Labor Day weekend, and Hurricane Dorian is on the way. Maybe to us here in Florida, maybe to people in Georgia, South Carolina. Thinking about that. I know when you're seeing this, it's probably going to be November or December. It's hopefully a distant memory for all of us, but just doing this to sort of keep my mind off things and have something to do. And it's a holiday weekend, so trying to make the best of it. So yeah, this is box number 10 here, as you see here. 95 pieces is what it is listed as containing. So let's get this one cracked open and see what's in this box. Cheers, I'm doing my morning coffee. Alright, so here we go, box number 10. First one we got here is Amy Grant's Heart in Motion, probably her most well-known album. And here we have the Fire Sign Theater, Waiting for the Electrician, or Someone Like Him. Here's a cool blues rock one, John Mayall, Moving On. Look forward to checking that one out. Hey, here's a funny one. These are always interesting. The Mystic Moods Orchestra. This one is English Muffins. Another one from the Mystic Moods Orchestra. This one's titled Extensions. These are a couple you don't normally see. You see a lot of Stormy Weekend and those kind of Mystic Moods records, but yeah, these were a couple that were just oddballs, and I thought I'd just check them out. They're fun to spin. Just some instrumental light. It's basically love making music in the 70s. A copy of Emerson, Lake and Palmer's Tarkus. Love this piece. The first side is all Tarkus, and it's a killer track, and yeah, definitely always enjoy hearing that one. This one is on the Everest Tradition label. This is Anthology of the 12-string guitar. It's got Glenn Campbell, Mason Williams, Joe Maphis, Howard Roberts, Billy Strange, James McGuinn, and Bob Gibson. So yeah, a bunch of great guitarists doing their thing on the 12-string, and yeah, it should be pretty enjoyable if you're into folk music. Here is a comp, the best of Cannonball Adderley. Unipack. There is the standing cover, Switched on Bach. All right, got a an Elvis record here. Don't have too many of these, but yeah, picked this one up just to check it out. Elvis Country. And I should say, in case you're new to this series, most of these things I'm showing in these videos, these unboxings of the stuff I had in storage, were things I picked up at thrift stores, garage sales, flea markets, really cheap finds that I bought when I had the opportunity to buy things. When I saw things that I knew I wanted to hear, I just pulled the trigger and bought it, and just bought when I had the chance. You know, on the American Pickers, they say the time to buy something is when you see it, and I pretty much follow that path myself. if you don't buy it when you see it, you might not see it again. So that's that. That's how these sort of came to be, and that's why I had to put them in storage, because we downsized for a while and didn't have anywhere to keep them. Here is a steel band from the Bermuda Steelers titled Life. So somebody would have went on vacation probably to Bermuda and saw these guys play and bought, nowadays maybe you buy a CD from a performer, a live performer you see on vacation or whatever, and back then you bought a record if they were good enough to actually press a record. Here's something from the DB's Sound of Music. I'm guessing these are not the James Brown DBs. Different group here, 80s group, I believe. 87. Here is another sort of 80s UK comp. They did some incredible, just awesome comps in the UK in the 80s. It was like a big thing over there. It wasn't as big of a thing here in the US. We had them, but not. I don't think we did as well as the UK did, and these are always great. Of course, the big ones are that's what I call music series. That's the big series, but there was a lot of other series that they did in the UK. There were a lot of other series that they did in the UK of compilations of popular music of the time, and they're all pretty good in my opinion. And you hear a lot of groups that were popular here in the US as well, and groups you don't know that were just popular in the UK. So they're really interesting to us here in the States. And this one is titled Winter Love Songs. Fine Time, Winter Love Songs. So just great groups on here. You got House Martins, Go West, Peter Gabriel and Kate Bush, T-Rex, Genesis, Terrence Trent D'Arby, Depeche Mode, Enya. It's just awesome 80s music, and I love picking up those UK comps when I see them. Classic here, T for the Tillerman, Cat Stevens. Not much needs to be said about that. Here's one from the Ventures 10th anniversary album. Do enjoy listening to the Ventures, and that's a nice compilation of theirs. Here is the Sandpipers with Softly. Pretty sure the title track was a big hit for them, so it's a nice one to be able to spin and hear the rest of the album. And then Hawaii 5-0 by the Ventures. Awesome album cover, and Ventures sort of in that sort of vein, with the comp I just showed there of theirs. All right, next up we have Peter Gabriel Plays Live 2LP set. I just put another copy of this out in the living room on the next to be cleaned stack. So I got a couple copies of that. So I'll definitely end up with a nice copy, I think, of that. Mike Oldfield's Omadon album. Definitely want to pick up Mike Oldfield stuff when I see it. Here's a classic, Delaney and Bonnie and Friends on tour with Eric Clapton. Mahavishnu Orchestra with John McLaughlin, The Inner Mounting Flame. Jethro Tull's Songs from the Wood. Arlo Guthrie, Self-Titled. Next up, Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, Live Bullet. I just got done listening to, I guess it's called Night Moves, their other live album from this era. I dug it. I like Bob Seger. I can't help it. It's just good, enjoyable, rock music, and just the live albums sound great. I dig it. There's a gatefold on that one. Later album by Renaissance, A Song for All Seasons. This looks like 80s maybe. No, 78. Close to the 80s. getting late in their career. The Steve Howe album. Cool Roger Dean cover there. And there's the gatefold. Genesis's Wind and Wuthering. A little bit of water damage on the cover on that one. Hopefully I have another one of those somewhere. And Richie Havens' The End of the Beginning. Definitely enjoy hearing Richie Havens' albums, so I'm looking forward to hearing that one at some point. All right, next up we got one from Adrian Belew, Twang Bar King. There's a gatefold as well. Definitely very 80s look on that one. Spandau Ballet with Parade. I just recently listened to another copy of this album and decided it wasn't for me, so they're probably both going to be going in the Discogs store if they're decent enough condition. I believe this is called Steam. Yeah, Steam. With Na Na Na, Hey Hey, Kiss 'Em Goodbye. Roger Daltrey's Best Bits. I got Joni Mitchell's Wild Things Run Fast. Don't normally pick up Dire Straits stuff, but do have this one, Love Over Gold. Sort of have some personal issues with Dire Straits that make me not want to buy their stuff, but sometimes I do. The soundtrack to Heavy Metal, which I just bought on CD yesterday. But there it is on vinyl. Classic, classic movie, classic soundtrack there. The soundtrack to the movie Cruising. Really nice still in shrink copy of Thomas Dolby's The Flat Earth. And also still in shrink copy of Thomas Dolby's Golden Age of Wireless. Here's a cool one you don't see very often. This is the soundtrack to the movie The Gods Must Be Crazy. Definitely a classic 80s movie, and yeah, I loved watching this movie. It's been a while since I've seen it. I should watch it again sometime, but it's a funny movie. Cool to have the soundtrack to that. Another great 80s classic, probably one of the top 80s classics. Soundtrack to E.T. I think this one goes for a good bit of money too. I think I've seen it recently in the store, and it's not cheap. Hubert Laws at Carnegie Hall. Give you some nice jazz there. Live jazz. This is the Alan Parsons Project Greatest Hits album, which I do own every Alan Parsons Project on vinyl, but I have found this Greatest Hits in shrink, and I thought, why not? It is a gatefold, but since it's still in shrink, I'm going to keep it closed for now. All right, moving on. This must be the 80s soundtrack box here, because here is the Raiders of the Lost Ark, the movie on record. So this is sort of like a storybook record that sort of follows along with the movie, and it sort of has, I'm sure it has some sounds and music from the movie and some dialogue, I guess. Yeah, just a fun sort of nostalgic piece. Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then here is the soundtrack, I believe, to, yeah, this is John Williams' score to Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. That's probably pretty rare as well. Definitely a very classic 80s movie. you don't see too often. We're back to the Bob Seger here. This is Bob Seger, Stranger in Town. And yeah, I kind of lump Bob Seger in. He's kind of like the Dave Matthews of his day. You know, it's very approachable, easy but enjoyable music. Very, very well played, very well executed, and just good. And it's sometimes stuff like that's just good to me, and I'm fine with it. I don't care. It was really commercial and it's overplayed, but some things I get bothered with when they're overplayed, and other things I don't. But anyway, continuing on. An album from Ry Cooder. This is titled The Slide Area. So I'm guessing there's a lot of slide guitar on here, maybe. So, yeah. Love Ry Cooder, and always pick up his stuff when I see it. And the Robert Cray Band with Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. That's a cool one. That one's still sealed. This next one, Harry Chapin in Sequel. Guessing this was a live album, not really sure. But, yep. Harry Chapin should be pretty good. And another one from Harry Chapin. This one's titled Dance Band on the Titanic. Let's see here. How am I going to show you this? Fold out cover there. And then the gatefold. And Harry Chapin's short stories. Here's a cool one. Another one from John Mayall. This is New Band, New Year, New Band, New Company. John Mayall. Hold on that one. Yeah, this is a pretty rare album. When I looked it up, I remember looking this up. The Sounds of Love, A to Z, sensuously synthesized. It's electronic lovemaking music again, but it's synthesizer music from the early '70s. So it's interesting, and yeah, it's pretty rare and collectible, so glad to have that. Here's a nice one by Ramsey Lewis, Dancing in the Street. Here's one from the band Cahoots. All right, next up, David Carlos Santana with Oneness. Silver Dreams, Golden Reality. I thought maybe John McLaughlin was in this one, but he's not. But yeah, definitely classic sort of deeper catalog Carlos Santana album. Definitely, if you want to go further with Carlos Santana, check this one out if you haven't. Very good. Eric Clapton's Rainbow Concert. It's a cool one. A lot of different people on here. You can see on there Pete Townsend, Rick Gretsch, Jim McCaldy, Ronnie Wood, Eric, Steve Winwood. Yeah, a bunch of cool people on there. Let's see what the gatefold is. Yeah, it's a pretty nice gatefold. Another one from Adrian Belew. This one's titled Lone Rhino. Fleetwood Mac's Future Games. 1971. James Bond, The Man with the Golden Gun soundtrack. I do collect James Bond soundtracks, so nice to have that. Robert Plant's Little by Little 12-inch. with the remix long version on it, and then it's got some other tracks on there as well. Three other tracks, 6s and 7s is on here. Yeah, it's a pretty good one. This is going to be an upgrade copy to Elton John's Blue Moves. Definitely love this album of his. This is another one if you want to get a little bit deeper into Elton John's catalog. This is one you don't really hear that much, and it's a really good album in my opinion. Of course, this one does have "sorry" seems to be the hardest word on it. I think that's the only big hit on here. Great Elton John album. Definitely recommend checking this one out if you haven't. One of the lesser talked about ones. And a great group Flash. This is their album titled Out of Our Hands. They have great album covers always. There's the gatefold, and then there's the cover itself. Here's a definite classic, the Concert for Bangladesh. Box set. That's a nice one. Definitely glad to have that one. Graham Nash's Innocent Eyes. New Riders of the Purple Sage with Brujo. Yet another copy of Will the Circle Be Unbroken? Houdini's Open Sesame. Classic hip hop there. And Houdini's Back in Black. The Art of Noise with Max Headroom, Paranoia. The LA Dream Team, Bad to the Bone. More classic hip hop. Pink Floyd's Animals. Very nice. And this one was a killer find when I found it. An OG copy of Depeche Mode's Violator. Found that one at the Tampa Record Show many years ago. Okay, good. I didn't know if I had an upgrade for this or not. Apparently I do. Still in shrink copy of Arlo Guthrie's Alice's Restaurant. Of course, a classic. I spin it pretty much every Thanksgiving, and it's coming up soon. So maybe I will get this one cleaned up and spin this one this year. So that's nice. Stevie Wonder's Characters. Soundtrack to Moonlighting. You don't see too many TV soundtracks on vinyl, but there it is. Occasionally you do. Wham's Music from the Edge of Town. Very odd looking. I don't know if this is a promo or was it's got, you know, it's got enough tracks on it to be an LP basically. It's got like 8 or 9 tracks on it, but yeah, just an odd one from Wham. Here's when you see a lot. The Singing Nun. Jerry Lee Lewis, The London Sessions. Nice Jerry Lee Lewis comp there. The soundtrack to the 1984 Olympic Games. That's a cool one. That's still sealed. Next up, Britney Spears, Me Against the Music. 2 LP, 12-inch, lots of remixes on this one. Yeah, don't laugh. Britney Spears stuff sells for a lot of money on vinyl. Another copy of Tarkus, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I think this is original Cotillion pressing, first press on Cotillion. Very nice. Joan Baez's Any Day Now. This Is this, yeah, Joan Baez doing Bob Dylan songs. The soundtrack to the movie Bachelor Party. Another standing switched on Bach. I definitely have bought too many of those over the years. Down to the last little bit here. Here's a cool one. Marillion's Fugazi. John Martin's One World. Which I didn't think I had, but I do have. Yeah, I just need Solid Air, I think, is the one I'm really looking for. Simple Minds, New Gold Dream, and I've shown this before. It's the colored vinyl version. Definitely keep an eye out for that one when you see this. Some of them are on colored vinyl, and it's one you can find in a dollar bin a lot. Joan Baez's Diamonds and Rust, classic of hers. Roberta Flack's Quiet Fire. Charlie Pride in Concert. It's like a 2 LP set. Yeah, I don't normally pick up Charlie Pride stuff, but apparently this time I did. I guess this is more than just Charlie Pride. It's got Chet Atkins, Ronnie Milsap, Dolly Parton, Jerry Reed, and Gary Stewart. So yeah, okay. It's all these different artists. Each one gets a couple tracks, so yeah, that's pretty cool. Season's Greetings from Barbra Streisand. I think I have 2 Barbra Streisand Christmas albums somehow now. Dwayne Eddy, Twangy Guitars, Silky Strings. And another one for the James Bond soundtrack collection, even though it's probably a duplicate. For Your Eyes Only. This one's pretty common. See that one quite a bit. Quincy Jones Plays for Pussycats. It's an early one from Quincy Jones. And last but not least, Roger McGuinn with Cardiff Rose. Promotional copy of that. So that's going to do it for box number 10. Hope you enjoyed this unboxing. Leave me some comments down below if you have any about any of these albums you've seen. I'm going to get these wiped down, cleaned up, and on the shelf so we can get to box 11 soon. So thank you for watching. Have a great day, a great night, and we'll see you again real soon. Cheers.